You know that feeling, right? The box shows up, you're so excited, you tear it open, ready to meet your new green roommate, but inside, oh, it's a sad sight. The poor thing is slumped over, leaves are yellow, and all that excitement just drains away. Your first instinct is to jump in and fix it, but what if I told you that very instinct is probably the most dangerous thing for your new plant? See, to save it, you need to stop thinking like a gardener and start thinking like an ER doctor. And this quote? Well, it just nails it. We see a sad-looking plant, and our fix-it brain just goes into overdrive. But that immediate urge to repot it, to feed it, to stick it in the sun, it's a total trap. You're trying to treat the symptoms you can see, not the actual trauma the plant has been through. And that is exactly what pushes an already stressed-out plant right over the edge. So let's talk about this post-male death spiral. Now, the good news here is your plant isn't necessarily dying. Not at all. It's actually suffering from a very specific and very treatable condition. We just have to completely shift our approach from being a well-meaning rescuer to being a calm, cool first responder. The official name for it is male shock. And to treat it, you have to get out of the mindset of an interior decorator and get into the mindset of a triage medic. Your job, for now, is not to make the plant look pretty in its new spot. Your job is to stabilize the patient, period. Okay. So to be a good medic, you first have to understand the trauma, right? So what in the world has this little plant just survived? What actually happens inside that dark, rattling, lonely box for days on end? Let's investigate. First up, total, complete darkness. With zero light, there's zero photosynthesis. So the plant kicks into starvation mode. I mean, it literally starts eating itself, consuming all its stored sugars just to stay alive. It shows up at your door in a super weakened, low-power state. Now here's an invisible killer: gas. Plants release a stress hormone called ethylene. Inside a sealed box, that gas just builds and builds and builds, and it's basically screaming at the plant to panic, drop your leaves, get old fast. It's the reason a perfectly healthy green plant can arrive looking all yellow and sad. And finally, there's the constant shaking. Think about it. Every single bump and rattle in that delivery truck is creating tiny, microscopic tears in the roots and the leaves. The plant then has to use its precious, dwindling energy reserves, not for growth, but just for patching up all this internal damage. So the plant arrives starved, prematurely aged, and covered in tiny injuries. And what do? Well, we often make one of 3 fatal mistakes. Before we can learn the right way to help, we've got to unlearn the wrong ways. This is the big one, right? That flimsy little plastic nursery pot is kind of ugly. And you've got that perfect ceramic planter just waiting for it. It seems so logical. Let's just give it a nice new home right away. What could go wrong? Absolutely not. And here's the crucial thing to understand. A plant can handle stress on its top half, the leaves and stems, or on its bottom half, the roots, but it can almost never survive major stress on both at the same time. Repotting, no matter how gentle you are, damages the little root hairs that absorb water. And for a plant that's already struggling to drink, that's a death sentence. Okay, so no repotting. But it looks so weak, it must be hungry. A little plant food, maybe a quick boost to fertilizer. That should give it some strength, shouldn't it? Nope. Another fatal mistake. You have to remember, fertilizer is basically a mix of salts. And when you add salt to a dehydrated system, it actually pulls water out of the roots through osmosis. So instead of feeding the plant, you are actively dehydrating it, causing something called root burn. Now, this one feels like the most logical of all. It's been stuck in a dark box for a week. It must be absolutely starving for sunlight. Let's just put it in a nice, bright, sunny window to help it recover. And wrong again. See, after days in the dark, the plant has lowered all its natural defenses against UV rays. It's like its built-in sunscreen is just gone. Blasting it with direct sun right now is like putting a severe burn victim in a tanning bed. It will cause sunburn, what we call phototoxicity, on its already weakened leaves. Okay, so we know exactly what not to do. Let's all take a deep breath. It's time to put on our medic hat and learn the correct procedure. This is your step-by-step triage plan for the moment that box lands on your doorstep. There are 4 absolutely critical steps to stabilize your new patient, and you have to do them in this order. Think of it like a medical protocol. First, the gradual reveal to prevent shock. Second, a thorough inspection and quarantine. Third is strategic pruning. And finally, proper rehydration.
All right, let's walk through this together. Step 1, the gradual reveal. Open the box in a dim room, not in bright light. Don't shock its system. Step 2, inspection. Check it over for any pests. You have to treat every new plant like a potential Trojan horse, so quarantine it away from your other plants. 3, pruning. Be a minimalist here. Only snip off leaves that are truly mushy, black, or clearly dead. And number 4, rehydration. Do not water it from the top. The soil is probably rock hard. Instead, use what I call the bottom chug method. Just place the whole pot in a bowl of water for about 20 minutes and let the roots drink up exactly what they need from the bottom.
So once you've done that initial triage, your patient moves into the ICU. This is the 14-day recovery period. The only goal here is total environmental stability, so the plant can reset its internal chemistry. The two absolute keys to your plant's ICU are humidity and light. High humidity, I'm talking over 60% if you can manage it, is your best friend right now. It slows down water loss from the leaves, which gives the recovering roots a much-needed break. And medium indirect light is just enough to gently wake up its metabolism without causing more stress. And this chart illustrates the point perfectly. The plant is coming from zero light in the box. You do not want to put it in 100% direct sun. You want to place it right in that recovery zone, bright enough that you could read a book, but with no direct sunbeams hitting the leaves. You have to think of it like this. You'd give a starving person a light soup before you offer them a giant steak dinner. Now, during this recovery time, you do need to keep an eye out for these red flags. If you see black spots that are getting bigger, that could be a fungal blight. You'll want to cut those leaves off immediately. A mushy stem right at the soil line is stem rot, and that's really serious. And any fine cobweb-like texture could be a sign of spider mites. So after all this, what's the single most important number to remember? It's 14, just 14. If you can simply resist that powerful urge to repot, to fertilize, or to move your plant for just 14 days, you increase its chance of survival by a staggering 80%. Patience really is the ultimate cure.
And how do you know when the crisis is finally over? You're looking for the green light. That very first sign of a new leaf starting to unfurl. That is the plant telling you, okay, I'm back. My metabolism has reset, my roots are working again, and I'm ready to grow. Now, and only now, can you start thinking about that pretty ceramic pot.
So the next time a plant arrives on your doorstep, you have a choice. You now have the knowledge to see past those droopy leaves and treat the real trauma underneath. So the question is, are you going to act like a decorator, or are you going to be the medic that plant desperately needs to survive?